No, you don't. You okay?
And welcome back to Extra Butter. We are hanging out at one of the most legendary comic book stores in all of London. For information, all you have to do is follow me on Facebook. I will hook you up. I can't wait to tell you about all things Spider-Man Far From Home. You ready to tell him? I'm on an embargo. I can't tell him. Can you tell? You either? All right, great. In the meantime, I did sit down with Tom Holland. Remember the very first time I caught up with that kid? We went viral because of this. Take a look.
Tom actually has. No. He actually has a Spider-Man tattoo.
I do have a Spider-Man tattoo.
Are you gonna? Right here.
We're gonna do it?
Yet.
This is gonna be an exclusive.
Take a look.
The world hasn't seen this yet.
Yeah, that might be the most thing I've ever seen.
It hurt
And
so much.
if anybody's ever gotten a tattoo, oh my God, how did that feel?
It was an amazing experience. I got it done here in New York by an amazing artist called his studio is called the Bang Bang Studio, and he's one of the nicest guys. But yeah, it was. I always wanted to get that Spider-Man symbol on the bottom of my foot, but I just never thought I would ever get it done. And the opportunity came about, and he was like, "Yeah, we can do that." And I had it done, and yeah, it was an amazing experience. I actually had to have it done 3 times though, because on the bottom of your foot it fades away. So the 3rd time he really had to sort of drive it home.
He showed his tattoo to the entire world for the very first time. Did that happen this time around when I sat up with he and his 2 co-stars, like Zendaya? I don't know. Take a look. I have rarely walked out of a movie that I wanted to see again more quickly than this movie.
Oh,
the
really?
moment
That's
in credits, I'm
fantastic.
thinking, roll it again!
No way, that's awesome.
Have all of you seen it?
Yeah.
We have, yes.
All right, so you never know what you're going to get with the movie. You never know how it's going to turn out, but talk about the moment that jumped out that you were most looking forward to see play out on the big screen, and boom, there it was.
I mean, can we even say that? I feel like the things I want to say are like secret.
I know, this interview's so screwed.
I
There's
know,
nothing
it's hard.
we
There's
can
nothing we
talk
can
about.
talk about.
I mean,
I just had fun the whole time.
yeah, like
Yeah.
there's like
Same.
never a dull moment. So
There's lots of stuff that's in the film that wasn't in the script, that was
Yeah.
obviously redacted when we read
Right.
it. So there's loads of funny moments, like the whole opening of the sequence of the film. I had no idea that was going to happen.
Right.
So for me, that was a really nice surprise, and I think one of the funniest parts
So
of the movie.
funny.
Yeah.
It's a really oh wow moment.
Yeah.
And then when we get into the in memory of, and I don't think that's possible. And there is a memorial video that plays, a student film that plays at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And I love that moment.
Yeah,
So
that-
funny.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Like it's just like such a high school thing.
It's also very
annoys me.
confusing.
Yeah, seriously.
Because
What is going on
you're
right
wondering
now?
like, why isn't the superhero music playing?
And then when the font comes up, I was like, that's a weird font. Why did they choose that font?
And then
And then
like,
you find out
oh,
why.
that's
yeah,
why.
and then the pictures are like all naughty.
bad,
Like
yeah.
that. They're
Getty
like,
images and
yeah.
stuff.
And then they didn't even
Watermarks.
pay for the stock footage, so
Yeah.
it still has the watermark
Yeah.
across it. God, wait, how can I get into this? So your character has a layer of complexity in this one that we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
That had to be not only fun to play, but also how do you hold off friends when they call and say, so what happens in this movie?
Yeah, I know. That's the hard
It's
part.
tough.
Is if you really talk to anyone.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess it's good that we're all friends, so
Yeah.
we can
True.
just talk to each other about it and know that we're not spoiling anything because
Right.
we're all in the same movie.
But they can't talk to me.
But you know, it's been really fun. I think like the first movie. Obviously, we don't know much about the character. We just know that she's like a very honest, brutally honest sometimes character, and I don't know. I think she kind of has like a bit of a wall built up. So it's kind of nice to see different sides of this character and kind of see the gooey inside that she actually does have. And I think Peter just brings that out
Right.
out of her a little bit.
You know, I want to ask you a question, and it might lean towards being personal, but I've asked this of every Spider-Man so far. When you're in the most complex version of the spider suit,
Yeah.
and suddenly nature calls, what do you do?
You just gotta hold it, man. You gotta hold it. Those suits cost hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So
Peeing on it would.
peeing on it is not an option. It's funny, on the first film,
I thought about that often. I was like, what if he has to?
if you like really need, you have to pre-plan. If you
Right.
every sip of water, you're like, that's an extra 5 minutes I'm gonna need.
like shark.
If you shart, that would
Like,
be also
that
really bad
sucks.
for my
'Cause that
poor
you can't-
costumer because
that you
I'm not gonna
can't-
clean it.
You can't.
I know.
Can't see that one coming.
But on the first film, there was a sequence in the film where Spider-Man's running through a neighborhood, and I didn't take the suit off for like 10 hours or something, and I didn't go to the toilet, and I told my mum, and I was like, I had a really hard day, like I kept the suit on for 10 hours, and I couldn't go to the bathroom. And then the next day, the producer comes up to me, and he was like, Tom, how are your kidneys? I was like, they're fine, they're fine. Why do you ask? And he was like, well, your mom called last night, and apparently we need to give you frequent toilet breaks.
Oh man.
Come through, Mom.
That's amazing, though.
You know, she's looking out for you.
Yeah.
Right? Better than an agent, better than a manager.
Yeah.
Oh, way better than yeah. Well, no, sorry guys. My agents, I love
With
them
no
so much.
offense.
Yeah,
You know, my agents called me last night and they were like, so we heard you saw the movie.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, I didn't call you, I'm so sorry. And they're like, thanks dude, can we come to the premiere?
Well, you have something very proud of. This movie is in my top 3 favorite superhero movies of all time, and I'm going to see it again. It may be the first.
Thank you, that's very kind of you, thank you.
Congrats on your conquest within this movie. Without plot spoiling.
Oh, that's not.
Oh.
I think that's just like a nice thing, but whatever.
It's very cute.
Yeah, very cute.
I love how they get the same look in their face that you get when I ask you a question. So give me a good plot spoiler. Exactly. That's all they gave me too. Will I have better luck with Jake Gyllenhaal? No, but we will talk about some really cool stuff and his secret to long life. I'm not going to tell you now. We'll be right back with that as our half-hour special, All Things Spider-Man Far From Home, continues after this. And welcome back to our half-hour special of Extra Butter from Orbital Comics, one of the most prestigious comic book shops in all of the world, right here in London. Hanging out with Spidey. What are you looking at? Oh, of course, it's Spidey, volume number 1. This is amazing, an original Marvel offering at only £5, which is roughly 763,000 US dollars. We'll work it out. We'll fix that in the back end deal. Sound good? All right, Jake Gyllenhaal, Mysterio, an amazing job. I thought you, right? All right, what happens with him in this movie? Can't really tell you. I don't want to ruin it for you, so I'm going to let him tell you about it and his secret to long life, or at least staying regular. Oat milk. Take a look. Last time I chatted with you in Toronto, I think we had a 4-minute long conversation about oat milk.
Did we?
I think so.
My God.
It was some random thing.
The things you remember and don't. Memory's an incredible thing, isn't it?
What are
I'm
your
glad I blocked that out of my... We've talked not just about oat milk.
Well, that conversation, that's what stood out.
Okay, wow, great. Okay, wow, thanks a lot. No,
but it was a game changer. I feel like I had been living in a cave. I hadn't heard of this oat milk, and suddenly that's all I use.
do you know
now.
that the oat milk, this great brand called Oatly, they actually started in London, in England.
Awesome.
Yeah, just so you know. So if you want to get great oat milk, which you can get in the States anyway,
right?
But you want to get great oat milk, fresh off the oat machine.
The oat boat?
The oat boat, you should get Oatly. And
Awesome.
It's easily accessible here. You have to fight for it a little bit more in the States.
Which brings us to London, which brings us to Spider-Man in
Yes.
London, and you did it. Congratulations.
Yes. Oh, thanks. Yes. We all did it. We all made the movie in London.
Is there anything, I look to you and you've done so much in your career. You've done just about everything. Do you get geeked out? Are you as geeked out as the average person would be being dropped into this franchise?
Yeah, I would change the geeked to freaked out because I feel a little bit like, you enter a movie like this that's so huge and has so many expectations, and you're playing this character and there's so much speculation and people love it. I mean, the truth is the fans are incredible, so that is a really positive thing.
Right.
But first couple days on set were like a learning curve for me, in a lot of different ways. I'd never really been in a movie this enormous. I made some big movies, but this was a whole other deal.
Sure. What I love about your character, you think if it follows the tropes of the average superhero movie, we're going to get introduced to your character late in the first act. But in this character, like a couple minutes in, boom!
Yeah.
Is that plot spoiling? I keep expecting someone to come in.
Not plot spoiling, but yes, you do. The thing about this movie is that my character has followed one of these elemental creatures down through like a rift in the dimensional time continuum, and he finds himself on this this earth that he doesn't know, and fighting this creature with people he doesn't know and heroes he's never seen, and so he's sort of like trying to figure it out in that sense. And so to me, what was I saying? Forgot. Never mind. I don't remember.
You got so deep into the time continuum.
Well, it's pretty cool.
Do you ever find yourself getting lost in the script wondering, and again, I don't want to plot spoil, but just wondering, wait, is my character on this plane or this plane or this plane?
No. I mean, I think the thing is that the coolest thing about the character is that in opposition really to the comics, which is why I think he's really cool, he has to team up with Spider-Man to fight these creatures, which is what makes it fun. And I think this movie is about something, at least when you finally do see it, that is completely unexpected. And if I were to say what I really feel like it's about, I'd really be giving a lot of things away. But essentially it's about Peter Parker growing up. But there's a real reason why Quentin Beck is there in Peter's world. And it's a pretty incredible reason in the end. And that really is the reason why I wanted to make the movie.
Loved this movie.
Oh,
So
good.
to see you.
Oh,
Thanks for
good.
your
Nice
time,
to see you too, man.
Thanks for the opening. What an awesome guy. And also to share his secret for long life, oat milk. What's your secret to long life? Or staying regular? I'm sorry, what happens in the suit stays in the suit. All right, when we come back, this movie is remarkable for no other reason because of your director, Mr. Tom Holland. John Watts, phenomenal. He joins us next. Yeah, don't mind me, I'll just do the show. I'm okay, Tom. I mean, Spider-Man. Hey, welcome back to our half-hour special dedicated to Spider-Man Far From Home. And indeed, we are far from home, which is why we're over here talking to some people in London, where most of this movie takes place. It is glorious, but it'd be nothing without the director. I sat down with John to talk about it. Take a look. I was just telling you how much I loved your movie, not because you're in front of me, but the moment the end credit last sting happened, I wanted it to start over again.
That's great. That's great.
I love something, and again, this is one of the most difficult interviews because even beyond the last Avengers movie, there are so many things that even the mere whisper of it will blow the moment.
Yeah.
Suffice to say, I like the open of this movie. It's unlike any superhero opening ever.
That is true. I mean, for me, the challenge was to find a way to deal with the fallout of Endgame and answer a lot of those unanswered questions while still maintaining the sort of fun high school tone that we had established in Homecoming. So it seemed like the right way to do it.
My generation grew up with John Hughes, and there's some reason that somehow this middle-aged guy got in the head of adolescence better than almost any other filmmaker ever. And then there was a respite where we didn't have that. But with you, with the first movie and then this, I feel like you get it. What's your secret?
The thing that always struck me about John Hughes' films is that he was always looking for the humanity in all of these characters, you know, whether they be high school kids or, you know, middle-aged businessmen from Chicago just trying to get home for Christmas, you know, like he gave everyone a really deep human side. So I just try to maintain that approach in these films and think about everyone as people and try to be honest about that.
You make the likable people so likable, and the not likable people understood.
Yeah, I mean, no one ever wakes up and thinks that they're a bad guy, I think. So, you know, everyone has their reasons for doing things. Even if you might not agree, it's important to at least try to maybe understand why they're doing what they do.
No one ever goes into making a film just to make it for themselves. They probably shouldn't. You want to throw a broad net or at least serve the audience. But at the same time, there have to be moments in this movie that are joyful for you, that are for you, preaching to you. What would those moments be?
I always try to make a movie for myself. I mean, you know, I don't ever try to pander or anything like that. So you make something that you would want to go see, you know, and that's how I always think about it. There are a couple moments that really crack me up, and I still can't believe, you know, we got away with them. But they're all kind of spoilers, so I can't say.
Yeah, they're punchlines you need the audience to find for themselves. Yeah. Working with Tom again, how was this?
It's great. I mean, it's really nice now that we've done 2 films together. I feel like we're developing this really unique shorthand where we both know what each other are thinking. And it really you know, makes it go smoothly and makes it really fun.
And then Sam Jackson on set. I can't imagine how I would begin to direct this guy. Do you just kind of have him show up?
I said, his first day on set, I said, look, you originated this character. To me, you are Nick Fury, so I'm just going to treat you like Nick Fury. And he said, good, finally, someone understands.
Without plot spoiling, is there a moment that he's the most Nick Fury you've ever seen him in the movie?
The most Nick Fury, well, that's a very loaded question, I guess, especially in the context of this film. But there's just one, he has one face of just like complete annoyance when his little exposition speech keeps getting interrupted by the kids in the Venice hostel. And he just like looks right back at Peter and gives him just the dirtiest look I've ever seen. That's probably the most Nick Fury moment for me. Because I've never seen him in that situation before, so it really shows.
Fictitious character, it felt pretty organic.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that he kind of let Sam do his own thing. What would you do? I know you do the same. You do the same thing. Am I right? Am I right? What do you think, Spider-Man? Or Tom Holland? Well, we'll find out. Our half-hour extra butter dedicated to Spider-Man from London continues next. Hey, welcome back to Extra Butter from London and our half-hour special dedicated to all things Spider-Man Far From Home. And indeed we are. Shout out, London. Hello. Bangers. Mash. How irritating is that when Americans try to do English accents? I know, Tom Holland. My apologies completely. All right, one of my favorite American actors of all time is Samuel L. Jackson, not only because I love all things Nick Fury, but I love all things Nick Fury. We talked about that and a lot more. Take a look.
Are you having a good time here?
Always. I have a good time everywhere.
Oh, you have a good time here.
I have a good time in Sacramento.
Uh-oh.
May I get a wide shot over there, pretty please? Even if it's dirty, as they say. Wow. Speed?
Yeah, it's always dirty.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Can I tell you what an honor it is to be in a situation where I can talk to you in Harlem and a week later I'm talking to you in London?
Yeah, that just means I'm working too much.
That's not true.
Okay.
Wait, how does Sam Jackson know when Sam Jackson's working too much?
I think I get cranky at a certain point, but that usually happens. It's almost time for me to take vacation, so I'm usually in a little cranky spot because my body's going, okay, it's time, right?
Right.
We get to rest for a while now, right? But this year's just been, it's okay. I'm doing press right now, so I'm not actually working. Last year, I was shooting this, and it was vacation time, and I was like, argh.
I've interviewed you 26 times. I think I've gotten the
Really?
full gamut, and sometimes it makes me nervous if I think you're going to be cranky.
I'm not cranky that often, am I?
No. Are you cranky now?
Today? No, I'm good today.
But give you a minute?
No. I totally love being in London. I saw the movie. Good movie.
Seriously.
Fun and great, and I had no idea some of the stuff that was going on in it. So I've been totally surprised by it, and I'm really pleased with what's happened here and what this product is.
I have never or rarely wanted to see a movie again so quickly after the moment the credits ended as I did with this movie. I can't wait to see it again. I love this movie so much. And Nick Fury gets a vacation in this movie.
Yeah.
For a moment.
Just for a moment. But, understated.
Yeah. If you were to go on a vacation, albeit real or virtual, what would be the perfect spot for you?
Me?
Yeah.
I kind of like, we take a yacht trip every year, so I kind of like being on a yacht in the middle of nowhere and just resting with the sun beating down on the deck and me sleeping on the thing with my Kindle laying next to me.
No agenda?
None.
And what's on that Kindle?
I actually read a lot of murder mysteries and intrigue novels.
Got it. Not reading a lot of Spider-Man, dark novels or anything like that?
Well, I do have Comixology on my Kindle, and on my iPad. So I read a lot of comic books on my iPad, as opposed to going in the store. I have a lot of physical comic books, but when I don't get a chance to go into the store and I'm on location, I just use my iPad.
Cool. How rewarding is it, when we first began Nick Fury's journey with these movies, Nick Fury was kind of an end note, a little blip that would show up here or there in the movies. And now that he is a huge part of
Really?
Well, don't you think you'd started out kind of popping in just
I
to
popped
change the
into
course?
Spider-Man just to say, hey, we're starting the Avengers Initiative. You might want to, pay attention, and you got a responsibility.
Right.
And then, I showed up a little more in Avengers, and then, Captain America and all those other things, and had my big moment in the car. Winter Soldier and all those things. Then I kind of disappeared when they started having Civil War and all that other stuff.
Right.
So it's kind of fun to be back, even if it's like before all this stuff started, like in Captain Marvel, and now after all these big events has happened and we got blipped out, now we're blipped back to figure out now, what's my new normal.
And I like that we deal with the blip a lot in this movie. Also in this movie, you are ghosted. I don't want to plot spoil. I have to think very carefully. You're ghosted by Peter Parker for minutes.
Heads up, Nick Fury's calling you.
I don't really want to talk to Nick
Answer
Fury.
the phone.
Why?
Because if you don't talk to him, then I have to talk to him. I don't want to talk to him. You sent Nick Fury to voicemail?
I gotta go.
You do not ghost Nick Fury.
How do you handle it when people ghost you? Does anybody ever ghost Sam Jackson?
I don't know that they do. Most people that I try and reach out to and can't reach figure out a way to get back to me pretty quickly. My daughter tells me I need to text her before I call her so that she can make herself available.
A warning shot?
Yeah. I can't just call her out of the blue.
God, so, sounds like kids. My kids are exactly the same. They're all the same.
Yeah, but at least she's paying her own phone bill. But if I was paying my kid's phone bill and they told me that, that'd be a problem.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. Hey, may I get a boomerang with you?
Of course.
As we wrap this
What
up?
is that? What's a boomerang?
It's one of those
I'm
fancy-
missing something.
It's one of those fancy.
That's a new kind of shot?
It just loops the video a little bit.
Get out of here. Oh, look at you, being all modern.
Sam Jackson, one of the most awesome people of all time. Am I right? We are wasting a perfectly good Spider-Man. Switch places, switch places. All right, for all things Spider-Man Far From Home, don't forget to subscribe and like on YouTube. Also, our Facebook page. Look at it, it's Spider-Man! Far From Home, headed to theaters everywhere. UK and then some. All right. I pretend like I'm being popular. I'm invisible right now. They don't even see me.